All right, here we go. So thanks for being here, guys. Jen and Amanda and I just got back from Utah, as you know. And we just wanted to, while we are fresh, well, tired, but fresh off of the vibes of the weekend, um, we wanted to just share with you our biggest takeaways. There might be some repeating. We haven't talked really or planned this. And I think it's good because I think you can even hear the same thing from a different perspective and it sounds different. So we all had the same experience. We all did everything together. But I'm actually excited for this because I'm interested to hear like what's similar and what's different, So should I just start?
Yeah.
Should I just go for it? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me just hold on one sec. I'm just gonna make sure everybody's muted and then wait, don't mute me. Okay, you guys can unmute yourselves and my dishwasher's on. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me all right? Or can you hear the dishwasher? No, okay. So, I took the weekend for me, the weekend theme, and it was kind of worked in there, but especially for me, it was really about facing fears. So, for me in general, just traveling, and I think like anyone in a similar position, if you have kids or your job, whatever, like if you're going to just kind of go across the country and live in a house with a bunch of women, most of which you've never met, you don't know what to expect, you don't know what you're going to eat, you don't know where you're going to sleep, like there's all this unknown, there's surprises for you. So there was like a lot of fear. Just getting there was like conquering a really big fear. It was a good fear. It was one of those like things that I knew was going to be awesome, but I was getting there and conquering that fear. And when I got there, especially in the morning, like in the night when we were driving, I could kind of see it. But in the morning, when I looked out and I saw the landscape and I like saw Utah, I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, like if it wasn't for Beachbody, I probably would have never gone to Utah. Like that's true. Like who goes to you? Who's like, hey guys, family trip this summer to Utah, I mean, if you're a skier, yeah, like you'll probably maybe make it out to Utah. I'm not. So that was kind of the first thing that hit me. It was like, Amanda and I were joking, like we literally I took my car to her house, then we took an Uber to the train station, then we took a train, then we took the orange line, then we took the blue line, then we took a shuttle, then we took a plane, then we took an Uber to the house. That was our travel on Wednesday to get there. After our first flight was canceled and we had to reschedule a second flight. So like literally it was like this journey, and you woke up in the morning and I saw this beautiful landscape that looked like nothing I've ever seen. And I realized like I would have missed that. Like it's something I never would have experienced. So I kind of had like, that was like my first real aha moment of feeling just how awesome that was. And also that like literally anybody could be there with us. Like the 17 people that ended up qualifying, like anybody sitting here tonight can be there next year, wherever the retreat happens to be. Because it just requires that you be a Diamond Coach and hit Success Club. Like that was the basics of the qualifications. So that was like the first incredible thing. And then we had all these fears we faced. And I'm kind of a scaredy cat. So like everything we did like brought on some fears. So, right first thing, we'd like shot guns and then our van broke down. We were like on the side of the road and I was freaking out. I made everyone get off the road and then we swam in a crater and then we climbed a mountain. So all of these like things that were like really conquering these fears. But the biggest experience, like the most, if I had to pick like one thing that was my favorite part of the whole trip, it was when we went to Beachbody headquarters. And I actually didn't think this was going to be I don't know if Amanda and Jen knew. I did not know we were going to meet with Jeff Hill. I did not know that. So I thought we were going to like meet the sales team and get a tour. And I actually was kind of like, wah wah about going to Beachbody headquarters. Like I wanted to go. Don't get me wrong. I was like, okay, but I wasn't excited about it because I just was like, whatever. We're gonna go see an office. We're gonna meet like the sales team that I already know. You know, I've seen them at Summit and stuff. I know who they are, but that's cool. Like we'll get like, you know, to like shake their hand and say hello and maybe put our face out there. And we got through the whole office and everybody was like great and nice and we saw everything. And we got to the end of the office and we're standing outside of this door for a while. Like we're looking at the Elite wall and we're making jokes and we're laughing and all this stuff. And all of a sudden the door opens and freaking Jeff Hill is standing there. And I'm like I didn't even know he was going to be there. So if you don't know who Jeff Hill is, he runs the National Wake Up Call. So you hear his voice. He's always the one talking to the coach. And our company's kind of like, we got Carl, he's our CEO, and then we have Jeff Hill and Michael, and they run different areas, but Jeff runs global sales. So Jeff is like, he's kind of like the coach CEO, you know, like he's the head of the sales team, which then coaches us, coaches the coaches. So he was like warm and welcoming and so genuine, like literally so genuine. So I just thought it was great. Like we met with him, we're talking to him, we're in his office. We just like all like took over his office and we're like, oh, what are these PD books you have here? And like, we're asking him all about himself, you know, and he was like great about it. He was like, yeah, come in, go ahead. Yeah, check it out, take a picture, whatever. And I kind of thought that was it. And at the end they said, oh, Jeff's going to come in and talk to us. I still didn't exactly know. Like I knew we were going down to a conference room. I still didn't know we were like gonna conference with him. I thought he was gonna like come in and like kind of wrap it up after someone else was talking to us. So he came down and he talked with us and I would say he talked to us for almost an hour. Like, wouldn't you guys, like we sat there for like it was like a good hour and he spoke from his heart. He barely had anything prepared, which was funny, but also like, I don't know, like all I can tell you is that he's literally one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life. Never mind that he's, you know, one of our top executives in the company. And it was just so refreshing to meet someone that high up that has that much integrity, that cares that much about, and I'll let Amanda, I don't know if she's going to share, but Amanda actually like spoke to him one-on-one after, and he just was so, I guess my point is like, he loves this company and he loves us. Like he does. He actually cares about us. And I've met Carl and Carl's awesome. I've met Michael and he's awesome, but there's something special about Jeff Hill and I just want you guys to know that. So here's some cool stuff that he said that I want to share with you guys. He was talking about, you know, basically in Utah, there's a lot of different MLM companies and all kinds of companies, sales companies. And he was saying like he gets recruited all the time. People try to get him to go with them. And you know, he's like, I can't do it. He's like, it's kind of the same thing we say. It's because Beachbody is more than a product. It's more than a sale. He actually said it's not a sale. It's not about the sale. It's not about making the sale or getting the person to buy. So he said, it's more than fitness. It's an opportunity for you and me to help people create real change in their lives. And that's basically like why Beachbody for him. Like that's kind of the root of it. So I love this too. He said, we provide people with hope and a proven formula that they can change their lives. and we help people push through the barriers in their lives. Hold on. Providing long-term sustainable value for people. So this was, he got into it, and he was saying, like, you really need to, and I started to do this and then I got interrupted, but I want you guys all to do this. He said, you need to ask yourself, why would anyone choose to follow you? So we work as a team and we work with each other. And what can happen very easily is that you can start to let the comparison game come in. He didn't really talk about that much, but this really takes care of that. Like, instead of looking at someone else and saying, I wish I had that, I wish I was more this way, I wish I could do this like her or him or whatever, to really go into yourself, to really self-reflect and say, why would someone choose me? Why should someone choose me? What are those attributes that I have as a leader that I know I'm going to give someone? You know, that I know when someone joins my challenge group or joins my free group or joins my team, what is it that I know they are going to get from me? 100%. And they're going to get it from me from day one through the time that they choose to leave. So what attribute, and then he said, you know, look at it too, and what attributes do you want to possess that maybe you don't possess yet? Identify those as well. So instead of like strengths and weaknesses, you know, you're thinking of it differently. You're thinking of, okay, what do I know? Because this is your confidence, guys. Like, so if you have this down and written down, and when you sit down to invite, you sit and you read to yourself, like, this is what I'm going to give this person. This is what they're going to get from me. Your whole mindset is going to shift when you start to message, you know, when you start to reach out and talk and prospect. So like, for example, one thing I can give you guys, one of my attributes as a leader, anybody that joins me, I am a loyal dog. Like, I am not going to give up on anybody ever. Someone will have to tell me to go away or block me, or, you know, like, I'm not going to be like a jerk about it, but somebody literally has to tell me to stop before I'm going to give up on them. So that's like that's something I'm really confident about. When I talk to someone, I'm very confident that if they do this with me, like, I am going to fight with them. I am going to check in. I'm going to keep giving them tips. I'm going to keep picking them up and putting them back on their feet and dusting them off. So that's like one of my, I mean, I need to come up with a few more, but that's like one of my really strongest attributes. And it's something that stands out. Like, I don't even have to think about that. So you have something that you know that you just naturally possess and that you're going to give to people. He talks a lot about leadership, and I'm not going to talk about that as much. I liked this part though too. He said leaders have clarity, or successful people have clarity on exactly what they're going for. So you have to have a really, and I'm not great at this. I dance around my real goals. You need to know what you're doing and where you're going. You need to have your goals set out, written down, and then put out there to your upline. You need to tell someone else what those goals are so that you feel accountable. And I liked, he said too, I can't find it here, but he said, oh, here it is. I liked this too. This really stood out. He said, you know, what is a Beachbody coach? And he said, what's so special about us is we teach people how to do hard things. I actually did a post about this week. And then we share that with our kids. And we teach them to share that with their kids. So we're not just changing the person, we're changing a whole legacy. And I was like, I was like, so what? Because it's true. It's what we do. Like, and my whole journey started with that. It started with doing something really hard. So that's my spiel. Those are my main takeaways. Most of them had to do with Jeff. And somebody else can go now.
Amanda, do you want to go?
I don't care. You can talk about Colleen because that kind of flows in nicely, and then I can just take whatever you guys.
Okay. It'll be cleanup crew.
What else is new?
All right, no problem. Okay, so hi guys. So my while we were in Utah, Christy really described it perfectly because it was a little crazy. It was a little out of my comfort zone. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not good with surprises, and that's like the whole trip was all surprises. So, but it was an amazing experience. My real favorite, Beachbody Corporate was amazing, and Jeff Hill was wonderful. But my personal favorite was actually Colleen Curtis. For those of you guys that don't know her, she's a very successful coach. You can look her up. She's, I don't know what her actual qualifications are, but I mean, she's an incredible coach. I know she's elite. And she has a really great viewpoint on things, and it's something that I relate to. She's kind of a Gabby Bernstein fan and a visualization and, a fan of that kind of stuff. So her thing was how to conquer your fears, because in coaching, a lot of the stuff that we don't do that is preventing us from becoming successful is usually rooted out of fear. We're afraid to go live because, we don't feel in control. It's something new. It's just not something that we're really comfortable doing, or running groups because we're not sure who's going to want to go to our groups, and we don't want to have an empty group, right? So we get nervous and we're a little bit like, well, I don't know if I want to run this group. Not enough people responded, so there's a lot of fears that are associated, at least for myself. I know when I first started, and even today, I still get a little queasy before going live. But she had talked about living life with full vibrancy. So really it just means just to have that intensity, to have that passion every day in your life. And so every day before you lay on your head on the pillow, you would ask yourself, have I lived my day with full vibrancy? And it's okay if it's not always a yes, but if it isn't a yes, it should be more yeses than nos. And if it isn't a yes, then that's okay. But when you wake up in the morning, you make sure to kick it in and you have a good day the next day. So with conquering fears, she said, the first thing you want to do is allow yourself to imagine, right? Like as children, we have great imaginations and we pretend and we imagine things and it's great, right? And then somehow that gets crushed or thrown into the back of our heads when we get older and we stop imagining. We just kind of pull ourselves through life, and we go to work and we come home and we make dinner and we clean up and we put the kids to bed, and then we pass out, and then we do it all over again. And we don't even think about it. We don't dream. We don't think about what we'd want. What if life didn't have to be like this? What if it could be different? And that's something as coaches we should always do, because we have this business opportunity that allows us that sort of freedom. I mean, you work hard for the first few years, and then after that, you do have the freedom. You can travel. You can do all the things you've dreamed of. It's literally in the palm of your hand. It is right there for you to take it. You need to go after it. So you have to be able to dream and imagine. And so, imagine where you want to be. Imagine yourself in that position. So imagine right now that you are exactly where you want to be. Whatever that goal is, whether it's elite or a 15-star diamond coach, or if it's just maybe you don't care about the recognition, it's just more the financial side. You're making 6 figures coaching, you have a team full of successful coaches as well, whatever that is, but visualize that and then act as if you were that person. So what would your day look like if you were that coach? Would you have trainings? Would you have one-on-one calls with new coaches? What would you be doing in order to operate at that level, at that caliber. Okay, so that's important. Another thing that she talked about is owning your dream. So it kind of goes back again to the whole imagination part. So you need to be able to visualize yourself where you want to be and own that. Like, you have to see it to see it, is what she said. And that took me a second to figure out what that meant. Because, but you have to be able to see it in your mind to see it in reality. You have to accept it. Now, I'm not saying, and neither was she, that you can close your eyes and just visualize yourself as 15 star, and then you're going to wake up and you're just going to be it. Of course, you still have to do the work. But in order to, put in that work and put in that effort, you still have to be able to see your goal long term. And it kind of goes back to what Chrissy was saying about Jeff Hill, is that you have to have that visualization. You have to be able to see long term. You have to have a plan, and you have to be able to execute it, right? So if that's the case, you have to be able to visualize, where do you want to be? How do you want to do it? And what it's going to take. So the other thing is, she had said that, sorry, kids, is the big difference in levels of success and how quickly you succeed is your response time. So maybe in the same time that it takes you to message 20 people and sign 2 coaches, someone else has messaged 100 people and has signed 20 coaches, whatever. So it's not that really anyone is more talented than the other person. It's about having a faster response time. It's when you're faced with a challenge, how do you overcome it? If you're facing your fear, how long does it take you to talk yourself down? If you're standing at that edge of that cliff, ready to jump into some water, the longer you stand there staring over the cliff, looking at it, the longer it's going to take for you to do it. And the longer you wait, there's a good chance you may not even do it at all. Right? So when something makes you a little nervous, a little scared, when you get that feeling in your stomach, like, oh crap, like I don't want to do this, just do it. Just do it impulsively. Just jump and do it. Because imperfect action is better than no action at all. You can always tweak. You can always adjust. But for God's sakes, if you're standing on that cliff, staring over at that water, thinking about it, calculating how long it'll take you to hit the water, debating whether or not there may be fish in there that could possibly harm you. I mean, all this time, all these things, it's just you're gonna chicken out. So don't do it. Just dive right in, and you're not gonna die, right? Like, no one's gonna die from going live on Facebook, right? I mean, it's scary. And I go back to that, I guess, because she talked about it a lot, but it's for me too. For as much speaking as I do, I still get a little weird before I go on because I get nervous. Like, what if I look like an idiot, But just do it. Just press that button, start talking, and figure it out as you go. So that's big. So let me see. The opportunity is right. Yeah. And the biggest thing too, I'm sorry, I have my notes here. These are my notes. It was a long night. but and the other thing I wrote here is, do you feel the opportunity is right? Is there will this help you grow? And if is something about right now, I'm sorry, I don't get that one. So will this happen? Will this help you grow? And is the opportunity right for you right now? So if you answer yes to those questions, then you just need to do it. Just jump in and do it. So the other thing she talked about too is, let me see, if you want ease a little bit more. So if you want whatever thing that you want. So for me, the one thing I always say is I want ease. I don't want an easy life. I just want ease in my life. I want it to be simple. I want my bills on auto pay. I want to not think about all this stuff. I want to be able to say, I feel like traveling. Let's go. I want that ease. I don't want money. I want what the money can bring. That comfort. The at least in that sense, the lack of stress over, wondering if we're going to do a family vacation this year. You know what I mean? So I always say I want ease. That's always my thing. And so I wrote, if I want ease, I will be more disciplined at facing my fears, because really ultimately that's all it comes down to, is everything negative can relate back to fear. And even if you think about it, anything in your life that is a negative experience can always be related back to fear. Always. So you need to overcome your fears. You need to just kind of be brave, embrace that horrible sick stomach feeling and go for it. Because at those moments in which you have the worst feeling, that worst sense of like you're nervous, is typically when you're about to experience the biggest change in your life. So don't quit, when you're 2 minutes from your miracle, that's saying just keep pushing forward and keep going. So some people stop. Why people stop, why they quit, why they, let their fears take over is either they have bad excuses, right? Really bad excuses, because there's never a good excuse as to why you shouldn't be chasing your dreams. And, or they have bad habits, they have a habit of quitting. They have a habit of, just backing out last minute, or they have bad relationships. And sometimes those bad relationships can rub off on you. I mean, you could be the most positive person in the world, but if you're surrounded by a bunch of people who keep telling you that this is crazy, your dreams are nuts, it's never going to happen, just quit and give up now before you embarrass yourself and your whole family, right? If you have that in your life, you are not going to, it will, not to say you're not going to succeed, it's going to make it more difficult to succeed, I should say. You could still persevere and push through that, but it makes it more challenging. So, even for those, even if it's close family relationships, just try to distance yourself a little bit, just in a healthy way, so that you're not surrounded by that. And that is another great reason why we have our amazing team, right? We have our amazing groups, because that potentially can offset some of the negativity too that you may experience in life that would possibly distract you from what your ultimate goals are and feed into those fears even more. So that's about it. That's kind of what I had for her. Yeah, she was great though. She was really cool, and she's a really positive person. She's very relatable. So Amanda and I were talking about that earlier. She's a really great speaker, and I'll tell you, she was so spot on for so much of that, because really when you think about it, think about your number one goal that you want to hit for this year, whether it's business, personal, whatever it is. And then think about what scares you the most about that goal. Because there's probably some huge fear that you never even realized, and that's going to be your biggest block. And if you can overcome that, then you could really do anything. So, Amanda, the floor is yours.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love Colleen, actually. I liked her more in person than I actually do like her on Facebook. I find her more relatable. Like, not in a negative way, but like, I think sometimes people come across you have a judgment of somebody on Facebook based on their posts. And in person, she was like 10 times better than I find her posts to be. And not that her posts are bad or anything. I personally found her more relatable in person, which was really good. And I asked her a couple of good questions, and she was really receptive to all of us. And I think she did a great job. So I'm not going to go back over everything that Jen said, but I just wanted to give you a couple of huge takeaways for me and a couple of aha moments. I went to Utah. First of all, I didn't even think I was going to qualify, because I was like, that's a joke. Like, I'm not even going to be able to go. And I was talking to Jen, who's my success partner. And if you don't have a success partner, you absolutely need to get one, because they push you to do those scary things. Like what Jen was talking about fear. That's the person that basically just throws it in your face and is like, no, we're doing it. And like, you're going to do it. Right. Okay. So I kind of did that to her. I was like, well, the hell, like we're good enough, right? Let's qualify. I don't know if I was having like a brave day or something, but I was like, yeah, those qualifications sound insane, but we're going to try. Right. So at first I didn't even think I was going to qualify. I've been on this, this whole year, after I had my second baby, and kind of my business kind of crumbled around me when I was pregnant with him. And then I came back full force. I've kind of been trying to prove to myself that I can do this for real, like every single day, because it scares the living shit out of me. I'm not going to lie. But things are just moving the way that I envision them to move. And Utah kind of fell into my lap at the perfect time. So I kind of went into this being like, yeah, I want to do this as my job, as my career. But there was something like holding me back. Obviously it's fear, because I pretty much learned that when we were there. And I know deep down inside that it's always something related to fear. That's what it is for me. And people think that I'm an outgoing person, but I can be reserved. And I don't know if like anyone saw that in Utah. I have to ask the other girls, but like I kind of would like retreat into like my little shell. I don't know, I'm a water sign, like I'm a crab, Cancer. So sometimes like, we like just get in our little shells and like we work and we kind of like observe and see everything that's going on. We're very emotional creatures. So like sometimes I try not to like get into certain things. But I went to Utah thinking like, oh, okay, well, I really want to do this, but my fear was like holding me back. Like I honestly believe in my head sometimes that I'm not cut out for this. And then, cause it's an MLM and we're completely unconventional, right? Like I'm a nurse by trade and, I've been taught that the right thing to do is go to college and do your college job and like, work this making a similar salary until you die. And that's it. I know it sounds morbid, but like, that's what you get taught growing up. Like, this is your teacher. This is what your salary is going to be. This is your salary cap. And that's the life you're going to get handed. Like, think about that. 18, you have to decide what you're going to do for the rest of your life. That's insane to me. And why people don't think that's more scary is beyond me. But I'm starting to have that mindset shift. And for me, Chrissy's laughing at me, so I don't know why. Oh, she's taking pictures probably. For me, the moment, one of the eye-opening moments was when I got this letter. And this was a letter that our leader, Candace, had asked secretly behind our backs in a good way. Like nobody knew. Well, I didn't know this was going to happen. I don't know if any of you guys knew. But she had all of our loved ones, like for Jen and I was a spouse, Chrissy was her spouse and her children, write a letter to us while we were there. And let me tell you, I'm not going to read it to you, but I literally ugly cried and lost my shit. Because when Jen was talking about how, all those important people that judge you and for doing something like this, and that belief and that fear that you have to put aside, when I had this letter from my husband, who is, I can say this now because we've come a long way in the past 3 years with Beachbody, but he was so skeptical of like this whole thing. Like, he was like, I don't know. It's just, first of all, the first day we bought it, he was like, that's a scam. He was like, why are they making you drink that Shakeology? That's a scam. Don't drink that stuff. I'm going to just down my nasty protein that's probably made from like GMOs. Who the heck knows what he was even drinking, but it was disgusting. And he had to like sip it in like 2 seconds because it tasted so bad. But yet he still spent money on it, which blows my mind. But anyways, so this letter, right? This letter really struck a chord with me, and not because it was like super sappy and emotional, but because it was somebody really important to me that had started to feel the passion and put their fears aside, as well as the fears that I had been facing. So that was a really eye-opening moment for me. And then when one of our Northeast corporate representatives came to talk to us too, I know Chrissy talked a little bit about it, but he gave us this actual key, and it was a symbol, a metaphor of how or what we do as coaches. Like, we teach people how to achieve hard things, and we're the key to that, and to that equation. And that struck a chord with me. Like, as coaches or people looking from the outside in, we're like, oh, well, you guys just sell Shakeology. Like, no, we don't. They could go and put Shakeology on a website and they could sell Shakeology. This is not about selling Shakeology. This is about helping teach people how to achieve hard things. And the coaches are the key to everything. And I've never felt so appreciated by a company before, ever in my life. Like, guys, I'm a nurse. I literally help save people's lives, like CPR, all the hard shit that people don't do. And I've never gotten treated like this from anywhere that I've worked. There have been, families that have thanked us and stuff like that. And, that's touching, but I'm talking about as a company to know the value. Like, we get a nurses week, we get this is terrible. We get like a box sandwich. It's like, thanks for coming, thanks for being a nurse. Like, what? I just saved your life. Like, I know that sounds bad. I don't mean to badmouth where I talk. And like, we're just, there's so many of us at the VA or wherever you work or another hospital. And it's just, what you're expected to do. You just go in and save people's lives. But as coaches, we were like celebrated this weekend. We were like told without you, the whole equation doesn't work. Because people can get nutrition anywhere. People can get a workout at any other gym. They can download any workout from the internet. Like, they're choosing to do these hard things alongside of you. So that was eye-opening for me. I think sometimes I don't think I'm that important part of the equation. But you guys should all know that you are. Like, each and every one of you who's working alongside somebody who decided to be on this journey as a coach. You are very, very, very important to the whole scenario and to Beachbody. So I thought that was awesome. The other little takeaway that I had is there's nothing wrong with setting monetary goals. And I think because I help people, that my business needs to move forward in a way where I'm setting monetary goals for myself. And I've been, shying away from doing that because I'm like, well, I'm helping people, like, I'm doing this job because I'm helping people. But like, everybody does a job to help, only a few people are lucky to help people, like as a nurse or my husband as a firefighter, like, but not everyone gets to help people at their job like we do. And it's okay to set monetary, goals in your business. That's not a negative thing, okay? Like, I think Jen was talking about the freedom. Like, the money, it's not that we want the money because we're greedy. It's we want what the money can do for us, the sense of time and freedom and all of those things. So I was learning that setting those goals wasn't an icky thing. And the other activity that we did, I don't know if anyone talked about it, but we wrote our fears down. This is at the end of Colleen Eddy when she was speaking, and she made us write it on this like special piece of paper. We wrote it down, and then we all went outside and literally burned the piece of paper. And I know it's just symbolic, but it just felt like I had gotten it off my chest. Like, I had written it down, and I let it go, and I don't do that enough. I don't put my worries into a worry box and write it down and make it real. I let it like weigh on my chest. So I think that was good to actually go through that activity with everyone and burn the fear away. So I felt that weight lifted off of me. And it was really humbling to see everyone in the house, especially like our leader, like Chrissy and Candace, who are very successful, but who are in the trenches alongside of us. Like, nobody there acted like they were better than anybody else. Like, Candace was there on her phone messaging people and like working her business on this, like whenever she can in little pockets of time. And we all were kind of doing the same. So I think that, we look at, Chrissy or Jen or Jory, everyone looks at each other and does that whole comparison thing. And really everyone's just in the trenches with each other. We're just out there, putting ourselves out there, messaging people, having relationships with people, and trying to help people. So what else do I have? Oh, and I think Jeff Hill said this about his own why, but leaving the legacy. But he said something like, I want to do something that's bigger than me. And I think that helped inspire me that day. And I want to take that with me. Like, I want to leave a legacy for my children, for my family. I don't want to just go to work and do a 9 to 5 and call it a day. Like, I want to do something that's bigger than me. And then the last piece, I think somebody said that I think it was Colleen. She was talking about her current struggles with her husband who had cancer. He's in remission now, but like she said, she didn't want to go to bed didn't talk about that, not wanting to go to bed at night, you know, laying your head on the pillow saying you didn't do everything you could that day. But she said, like, life is hard, okay? Life is always going to get in the way. And we need to make sure that no matter what, we're still pushing through. Take the negative and put a positive spin on it. Post about your life. Like, share that with people, because you can't just be like, oh, my husband is sick and he's ill and I need to give up everything and walk away. Like, life, it's going to be something different another month or 2 months down the road. Like, it's always going to be something that's going to get in the way. So if you're passionate about this and you want to keep with it, you have to just share the grit, you know, share everything. And I thought that really spoke to me when she said that, because that was a huge thing she went through. Like, her husband had cancer. Like, that was, you know, amazing. I'm so glad he's doing well, but how terrible. Like, she was at his bedside every single day. So, and she still posted. So I remember following her for that. So those are like my biggest takeaways. And I agree with Chrissy that I want everybody there next year. Like, I want like the whole team. So it's amazing. All expense paid trip. I'm like, well, who the heck does that for someone? Like, it's amazing. So if you guys have any questions, like, I don't care if you seem silly, just ask. That's all I got.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
It was like watching my little Beachbody baby emerge into like my Beachbody caterpillar.
Like a butterfly. And wings.
Into a beautiful butterfly. No, what you were just saying about, it's true, like, from Candace to even like Colleen Eddy coming there. I mean, I think she made a vacation out of it, but like, she came there because we were there. To Jeff Matthewson coming to the house that night with his wife came, to Jeff Hill, to then Jeff Matthewson and Kevin Shaw coming with us on the hike. Like, that feeling that you're important and appreciated. I've always gotten that feeling, like, even at Summit, like, even when I've run into, like, that first year at Summit, we like ran into everybody in the Omni, like in the elevator and stuff. And it's like that basic theme I've always felt from everyone in the company, and just trickles down. But having it like on that smaller, that intimate level of it just being us and them. And then that other piece were like, so it ended up being like 20 women, because some other people came to help, like, make food and do makeup and hair and stuff. So it was like 20 to maybe 22 of us. It's like, how do you get 22 women to stay in one house and they all like don't want to leave? They like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were no problems. There wasn't even secret problems. Like, nobody was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it happened and I didn't see it, but nobody like ever was like pulling me aside and saying something about you know, like, it was just this one mindset from us all the way up through corporate when we met with Jeff. You know, it's just this same mindset of this positivity and supporting each other, and that we're all a team, you know? So you saying that, like, I got that too. Even like, I think Colleen is somebody for me, like, when I came in, I saw her as like, I mean, she's got a very strong social media presence. She's very, very confident. And she is in person too, but she's not what you think. Because she's a person. Like, you think she's kind of perfect and she's got everything together. And she does have it together, but she's a person, you know? So yeah, I totally felt that too. That was like a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And we got these cool shirts.
Oh, I didn't get the memo. I was supposed to wear my shirt. I'm just doing laundry today though, so.
These were our shooting shirts. We were shooting in these shirts. was crazy.
Awesome.
Like we're in there with like these cut off shirts and like all these Utah people, like they were coming in on their lunch breaks with like cannons.
Yeah.
Remember the guy with the big bag?
My gun is in 3 bags. I'm like, what? Why does this chick have 3 bags right now? What is going on? And she's like, I'm just coming in to shoot my gun on my lunch break. I was like, okay, we're not in New England anymore.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, I think we're good. I think we did what we did, we did the highlights. As a whole, the retreat is an experience of a lifetime. So, definitely push to qualify next time because Candace doesn't pull back. Like she pulled out, like we walked in, we all had like a swag bag. She had us all like a picture made of all of us on the mantle. Like it was The Bachelor. She just really thought of everything, the house was just, I would never have stayed in a house like that at this point in my life ever. So the house was like, I didn't even know houses like that existed. So, I did, but you know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely.
I forgot to mention, Jen and I walked away so inspired. We decided to do the Beachbody Classic.
Oh yeah, Jen.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's a fitness competition. Yeah.
Jen and Amanda, the last night had a couple wines with Ariel and decided to.
Ramon is such a creep. I'm like,
He's flying up for the Beachbody Classic, so they're going to be super in shape for Summit.
And probably hungry and cranky. So
they're going to be very hungry.
I'm going to apologize in advance for the next 3 months.
But on Friday night, they can have a burger, so we'll be all right. Well, a
really?
burger because they don't eat meat.
That's a thing?
Yeah, when it's over, you can eat.
Oh.
I actually think the first day you get there that you're eating like candy bars. Ariel was like eating a candy bar all the time, like randomly.
Really?
That puffs your muscles out. Oh, not that. Your muscles.
Maybe it was like a protein bar that she was eating though.
No, a candy. Ask her. Right, babe? Snickers. Yeah. It gets crazy.
You're going to have to wake up at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, you have to wake up in the middle of the night and eat
bar.
Snickers. Then you get like tanned. They tan you. And then all of the hotel sheets are all orange. You're like up with orange hotel sheets eating a Snickers bar.
That's okay. Jen will be, and I will probably be in the side, and it'll be all orange. It'll be all orange. It'll be like, it's our Snickers time.
Yes. Well, then it's over, and it's awesome. It's going to be awesome.
And then I'm going to eat like a...
Especially that you're doing the Beachbody Classic. It's just, it's going to be great. And it's going to blow up your business. Like that.
Saturday we'll eat.
Yeah, I think Friday night you can eat.
All right. So we can eat again in July 14th then?
Yeah.
All right.
When do you guys start?
I'm going to put that on my calendar.
When do you start the plan?
When you have a fear you're facing, don't wait, take action. So I guess we're doing the classic.
Yeah, just jump.
And if you're naturally someone that's afraid of things, then just get a success partner that isn't, and she'll nag you into talk you into doing things.
Right.
I'm afraid of doing the classic, but I'm still doing it.
It's gonna be great. When do you guys start training?
Week and a half.
Yeah.
You're doing Body Beast?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll train with you and just not be in the classic.
We should just do the classic.
Yeah, you totally should.
Don't you guys think that Chrissy should do the classic with us? Yeah, thumbs up. 2 thumbs up if you think she should do it. Yeah, see, look at all those thumbs. Look at it. There's like tons of thumbs. I'm going to get Ramon in here with me.
I'll train for it.
Just do it.
Then I'll be like,
she could always change your mind if she starts.
This is why I can't do the classic. You ready? You ready for it? This is why. Okay.
We'll have to work on your fierce gun show.
Yeah.
Like this is okay. I'm like, who's that model that Ben Diller plays Zoolander.
Zoolander?
It's the Zoolander of the Beachbody Classic.
You're gonna do Blue Steel?
Like,
You Blue Steel?
do you guys know what it's like to be really, really ridiculously
Oh my
muscular?
God, everyone is so glad they got on this call tonight.
I'm so glad we're recording this part.
Oh, yeah. So that's why I can't be on the in the classic. Like, I'm a goofball, but I'll train for it and I'll stand on the side.
You should totally train for it. That'd be
I'll
great.
train for it. Fine, let's do it.
Train for it, and then maybe we'll just fill out a form for you.
I'm gonna be working with Ariel anyway, so it's like I got you two. I got what am I gonna do?
I know. I
Yoga?
love that you guys are going to be working together.
Like I can't be doing yoga,
Oh yay! Did that happen in the retreat?
so I'll just do.
Me and my big mouth. I was like, you guys should be success partners. Setting everybody up. I'm like the matchmaker, Beachbody.
The Beachbody matchmaker.
I'm good at judge a character though.
Yes. So if anyone else wants to train for it or do it, I'll
It's
train
a great
for it.
motivator.
I love to train. Like I would love all of the training.
Yeah.
You know, I probably won't do the last week, but we'll see. Imagine if I'm just there, totally ripped, and I don't do it. Like I'm just like,
No, I think we're gonna go in and register
oh,
you.
you're in the classic, and I'm like, no, why?
Imagine you win
It's
from
like because your forehead has a muscle, and I'm like, a big deal. Big whip. All right. Well, I have to go to bed because I have a new bedtime, and it's working for me. Everybody sleep more. It makes you more creative.
Yeah.
It does. And happier. It does. It really does. All right.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, guys. Good night. I'll post the recording, and Jen, I'll send you the link.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Good night.
Good night.